Hello and welcome to NewsClick. Today we'll be looking at the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, the total number of cases, the number of deaths, what are the steps governments across the world are taking, and what is India doing? Most importantly, what do we have to do so as to reduce or contain the spread of the disease? We have with us Prabir Purkayastha. Over to you, Prabir.
Let's look first at the global scenario. We are almost at the 4 million mark, and out of this, the death toll is also pretty high. It's about 275,000 odd deaths. And of course, we know out of this also that the United States has been the hardest hit, along with Western Europe. Let's look at the global map on this count, and you will see the countries today which are hardest hit, are probably the countries which are well connected to each other, well connected internally, as well as have certain temperature characteristics, which probably make the infection spread faster there. Of course, this does not mean it's not spreading in other countries. As we can see from India, we have seen earlier Iran, and we also are starting to see spreads in various other countries, including Brazil. So we are entering a scenario where the pandemic is going to be with us for the near future, or probably at least till we have a vaccine which can then stop the pandemic. Otherwise, it will be there with us in different forms. So we have to work out what is the global response to this. If we look at quickly at the figures that we can see in terms of the charts, then let's take a look at that. Let's have a quick look at the chart that we have in front of us, and you will see that countries which earliest were infected, I'm leaving out China, South Korea out of this, and talk of really European countries. You will see Italy was the first to really take off, and it is now, for the last 10 days or so, more or less looking to be just flattened the curve. The number of new infections are relative to the total number of infected are not very large. And this is almost the same course we can see for Spain, we can see for France, we can see for Germany as well. Now, when it comes to United Kingdom, the graph is still going up. You will see here that it is taken off a little later, but it's still rising. And if we see the death toll, UK has the highest death toll of all the European countries. So UK is still under watch, but there is some flattening of the curve there too. If we look at the United States, because you remember this is a log curve, so it doesn't show the differences that starkly. But you will see, if I put the cursor here, you will see it's about 10, 12 days back, they had 1 million. And in another 8, 9 days, they have added almost 250,000, 250,000 people. So therefore, their infection rates are still there, some flattening from the initial rate that we saw. Probably at the moment, the doubling time is around probably 14 to 15 days. But nevertheless, the control over the pandemic or the epidemic is still not there. If I come to India, because that's what, of course, also interests us, we will see our rate of growth is still not flat. It's still going up. Clearly, Indian infection rates are not at the moment following the trajectory of the European countries we had taken off earlier, and also Iran, which has maintained now for quite some days a fairly flat trajectory, or Malaysia, who were earlier ahead of us, but now have, it appears, complete control over their epidemic. The numbers are rising very slowly, and they have a more or less a flat trajectory. India at the moment, looking at the slope, this is a 7-day doubling rate. This is, as you can see, it's not very different from that. So probably at the moment, we have a little more than 8 days doubling, which means every 8.5 days, our numbers are going to double at the moment. Right. Long-term predictions are very difficult at this moment, and we'll talk about it a little later. Okay. So this is the scenario that we have in terms of the major countries. When it comes to India, let's have a look at that. What is the Indian scenario? When you look at the Indian scenario, we have almost reached number which is 60,000. Okay, we're at the 60,000 number. We are looking at, in the last 24 hours, new cases about 3,300 odd cases. Now that is not a very good sign, though it's not as bad as a day back when you had about 3,900, but the figures are still that it is still rising at a rate which is disturbing. That means even after a lockdown, we are not in complete control of what is happening. And also, if we look at the number of samples we have tested, we have totally tested about 1.5 million people. But on the last day, we have tested 85,000 odd people. Now, if we look at the testing rates to the total number of people or the new infections, we are still seeing about 4 to 5% infections among the people we test. That means out of about 20, 25 people you test, one of them is infected. So the rate of infection that we catch is also dependent on the number of people that we test. Look at the states which we are really looking at. Then you will find that we have more or less seen a similar kind of spread as we had seen earlier. What Maharashtra has always been the leading state. You can see Maharashtra has been leading. Gujarat for the last 10, 15 days has been the second largest spread. We also have Delhi, which of course is a city, so we can understand that Delhi, like Mumbai, is going to show high figures. We have Chennai, which shows also similarly high figures, and therefore Tamil Nadu is also in the list. But when you come to deaths, it's interesting that we have a slightly different trajectory. We don't see, for example, that Tamil Nadu has that many number of deaths, but Maharashtra has deaths, significant amount. Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh all have relatively high deaths, particularly when you compare them to the infections. We now also have West Bengal, which also has high deaths compared to the number of infections. So that is a worrying sign. It simply indicates that there are more infections that we are really observing, and we are not testing enough, particularly amongst people who we should be testing to see where the infections really are. If we come to the Indian states which are infected, let's look at a quick figure over there. Maharashtra is obviously leading the pack. It was the earliest to take off in our chart apart from Kerala. So this is almost touching now 19,000. It's 19,000 plus. And you will see after that, we have Gujarat, which is the second highest. And after that, we have Tamil Nadu and Delhi almost neck to neck. What is interesting to observe, or what is little problematic in terms of the numbers, the Maharashtra's growth is not slowing. The curve is not flattening. We are seeing a growth rate of almost a little more than 7 days of doubling. Gujarat curve is almost about 8 days doubling. So is Tamil Nadu. And that is our cause for concern, that we are seeing really growth rates which are not slowing down at the moment. And because this is not slowing down, and because the number of infections it has in the total population of India, therefore you see also India's growth rates hovering at the moment between 8 to 8.5 days. So that creates a long-term issue, that having done the lockdown, then what is it that we now need to do still? And this brings us to the question that if you look at, for instance, Telangana, and these are Telangana figures, or you look at Kerala, then you see the curve is quite flat after having gone up quite rapidly initially for Telangana. Then you can see that they have flattened the curve, and Kerala from the beginning, except for a few days, they have really flattened their curve after that. So it means it's possible to take control of the curve, in the sense we can flatten the curve, we can reduce the infections. But what is missing is that the second element, which is not lockdown alone, but what else do we have to do? Right. Now, before I go into that, it's also interesting to look at, for instance, what do we see in terms of the cities? And you will see there, let's talk about where are the infections, say in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh coming from. And we will see clearly that the infections are concentrated in the case of Maharashtra, almost entirely concentrated in Mumbai and its suburbs. In the case of Gujarat, It's almost entirely concentrated in Ahmedabad. There are other cases, but the huge numbers of this are really from Ahmedabad. And in Madhya Pradesh, it's almost entirely from Indore, which is not a very large city, going by Indian standards or even Madhya Pradesh standards. But Indore and Ujjain have a significant number of people who are sick, which would seem to indicate these are clusters which have taken off, and we need to do something about what is where this concentration of infections are there. We need to work out something. Now, I'd like to come into this issue here that if we look at what is crudely called the reproductive rate, that means how many people one person infect, we are looking at one person infecting something like 1.25 to 1.3. Now, that may appear much better than the initial infection rates, which are about 3. That's what the calculations seem to show. But again, there are two mistakes here. One mistake is, of course, when you talk of an earlier reproductive rate of 3, you're looking at the infections you are detecting. That means if you're not testing enough, when you start testing, you have a sudden takeoff of numbers, which is not really new infections, but new infections plus the ones you're discovering now were infected. So your rates seem to be high. But if we look at now, and if we compare on an apple-to-apple basis, I will say that yes, the lockdown has been effective in slowing down the rate of infection. That is clear. And I don't think we should dispute that. That's why we have, from the beginning, said, yes, we need to do a lockdown. But that's not going to be enough. Because if it's 1.2527, 1.3 kind of figures, then we are going to see every 8 to 10 days, we'll see a doubling of the numbers. Now that is simply not going to be good enough, which means another, say, 10 days, we will double what we are seeing, 1,20,000. Another 10 days, we'll see 2,40,000. So obviously this is a creeping pandemic. And as we lift the lockdown, we're going to see much more infections. So what is it, the strategy that we have to have? Obviously, lockdown is not going to or cannot continue in the same form. We've already seen that a lockdown plus the kind of policies this government has had, particularly with respect to migrant labor or the sections which depend for daily wages on their livelihood, we have seen what the impact has been. We have the horrific pictures of migrant workers being run over because no facility for taking them home is there, or looking after the needs in the city is there. We have seen in Lucknow a couple trying to reach home on bicycle, being hit and killed. So we have now enough examples of this. We have also seen the industrial capital calling for 60-hour week. We have Narayan Murthy, our IT guru, who set up Infosys, calling for 60-hour week, particularly around May Day, ironically. We have governments, state governments, particularly the BJP-led governments, saying we should have no labor protection laws for the next 2 years. Hold it in abeyance. Nothing for the capitalists. But the workers should be not protected in this period. And we have had the Vizag gas leak to show what happens when you remove all protections to the workers and you remove all the other laws which are supposed to be for the safety of the people around factories. So this is already there. The consequences of a lockdown and the consequences of an opening, which seems to think that the workers and the people don't count. Only the capitalist class counts. But what is disturbing about this is a second set of steps that we need to take, which is really increase, and this we have been saying from the beginning, we need to increase our testing much more than what we are testing right now. We need to test at least 5 to 10 times more than what we are testing, which otherwise we are in no condition to halt the community spread. Testing, identifying people who are sick, and then quarantining them independently of the general population. Don't put them back in their homes because they're going to infect the family. But we have also stigmatized COVID after the Tablighi Jamaat incident. And as a consequence, people are even scared to say that they are infected. Right. So unless we can make all of this work, the next phase of our containment of the disease is going to fail, because it's not enough to contain the disease. We have to know also mitigation measures, and mitigation is test, identify, quarantine, hospital. Now, these are the things that we have to do, and protecting the hospital population. We have seen the spread of COVID-19 in the hospital itself. So these are the steps we need to take. But at the moment, the government seems to be more focused on messaging and saying that we are in control, don't worry, we have brought it down. Otherwise, it would have been 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs, kind of, shall we say, modeling fiction which is being presented, not based on anything which is really concrete, but some figments of modeling imagination of the people. Yes, of course, lockdown was important. We have absolutely no disagreement on that. But lockdown was never going to be enough. And it's very clear now that if this continues, that we are going to see also COVID-19 continue, particularly as the lockdown is relaxed, the impact of this is going to grow. So the second set of measures is what is missing at the moment. And this is exactly the problem we have in India as well as the United States, which seems to be going through the same cycle. Of course, US has other problems like white supremacists claiming that this is really something against the freedom of movement, liberty, and so on.
Right.
So they're opposing it also from that point of view. And for them, it might also be an argument that, well, it's killing the minorities more. So do we really care? It's after all the African American, the Hispanic population who are dying in larger numbers. But leaving that out, it's very clear that as we relax, if we don't take the other measures we talked about, we are not going to be in control. And the current figures simply, and the chart that we have shown you, simply point out to the same thing.
Thank you, Prabir, so much for talking to us. That's all we have time for today. Keep watching NewsClick.